Hi there, everybody. Welcome. It's SVPod. A couple of guys in a jovial mood. Stanford Steve. You know me, I guess. I'm Scott. Red is on the floor. He was very excited.
Yeah, would you get a workout in this morning?
I think he's just mentally, he gets stressed when the big man's not here. I've just been following me around since I got back. Like he's very happy.
There's the steak.
That's a great call.
Don't walk in here after being gone for a week empty-handed, big boy.
That's a great call. My wife's like, at the dinner table, when you're not here, he just goes and lays over in his spot. But when you're here, it's not as bad as Otis. I just used to hand feed Otis from the table. But I think Red just knows the big boy's probably going to chuck something my way. Anyway, he's here, but he doesn't look like he's looking for anything. Just wants to be close. Great to be with you all at home. Fantastic array of things to discuss. Football runs the world. We know that. We love those late night Saturday night, early Sunday mornings in the middle of football season. Big man's at somewhere, wherever game day was, and we know what football is. It's the epicenter of what sports is about in our country. But if you take football off the table and you ask, when is a time when you've got what we have right now, this is it. You have an incredible leg of the Kentucky Derby run over the weekend in Baltimore. I don't even know if we'll talk about it. We have a major championship to discuss, which is obviously where we were. You've got both conference finals set, Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA playoffs, both of which come off Game 7s on Sunday, which were both blowouts.
Yeah, not great.
And we got stuff. We got a long list of things to discuss. We have a Gordo situation.
Oh, yeah.
We got a problem, man. We have a double hammer breakdown. Systemic failure of the math. Lots to discuss. I have a baseball thing I'd like to mention.
Oh.
Orioles ran my guy Hyder. His fault that this is the roster he's got to work with? They're going to bring in the ghost of Earl Weaver and fix it? Good luck with that. Anywho, kind of got to start where we were, don't we?
Yeah.
All right. Charlotte. First, how about a tip of the cap? Moosehead.
There you go.
We went there Monday. When we walked the golf course Wednesday after the rain finally stopped, 100 people asked, what wings did you have? Conservatively. People there were very excited that we were in not the belly of the beast, but we just found a spot the locals like. Just want to give a shout to Moosehead. It was
it's everybody's recommendation, so.
And it was great.
Sorry for making you wait for a table.
Me? Yeah. I mean, I was
waiting for a table and watching the caps go down. I'm like, good God, can we just sit down, please, and feed the man?
Well, now I want to be clear. I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to own this. I'm not a guy that shows up and expects like velvet ropes to be lifted and to walk directly. I'm not that guy. But I also thought I didn't know what we were walking into. This is an old Pizza Hut that's been reconfigured. Wood benches, band stickers, oddly decorated, looked like somebody was on acid, Christmas lights everywhere. I'm like, this is my sweet spot. I love these places. I walk in, good, packed. I'm like, they know we're coming? Nope. I don't think we're supposed to get special treatment, but I also don't always wait a long time. And so you get spoiled, man. So I got to be honest and say I don't expect it, but I'm used to it. So when you get used to it, I hope I wasn't acting like a bitch about it.
No.
Okay.
No, there was numerous phone calls attempted to the place. There was even messages sent on social media and just no response for over a day. I'm like, all right. We just have to go. We're just have to suck it up.
And by the way, that's 100% fine. We didn't wait forever, and we would have been happy to wait. I would have been happier if it was 1-0 Caps. It wasn't. Shout to the Canes. You guys are all that, as advertised, better team. Excruciating. But we enjoyed ourselves there.
Yeah.
Enjoyed ourselves. Really liked that a lot. You start because I love how much you love the majors. We could start late. We could start early. The golf course, the venue, who won, Scottie. Number 1 in the world, wins another. Where are you going?
I just think, first of all, you have to talk about the logistics because it was fucked up. I mean, I seriously, like Monday for the second straight major, like that's why I remember I texted you. I'm like, Monday at Augusta, washout, no fans. Nope. Fans that have those tickets for Monday have to wait a year to go back the way they have it.
Kind of a bummer. But folks at Augusta National will make sure that you're made whole. They're not going to just tell you tough shit. That's not how that place operates. But you do have to wait a year, and that's a long wait.
That's a tough one.
Correct.
I mean, imagine you traveled there the whole night. Regardless, again, this Monday, we have a washout. You and I, let's go out there. We'll figure it out.
We did.
Yeah. And we're out there on the range. See some guys try and go off. 3 was right next to the range and chipping area. And then 30 minutes later, that group is back on the range hitting balls. I don't know if they had issues, but then when we finally get out there Tuesday, it's soaked. And what's crazy is, you would think like the rough would be affected, It's not walking in the rough. It was walking in the fairway, and then how they shave, the area for the golfers to walk straight down the fairway. That was the worst part. I mean, you kept calling it a sponge that you didn't wring out. Yeah, like I didn't feel like my feet were dry until I got on the plane yesterday.
I threw away my shoes that I had. Just left them.
Yep, I did too. So then you get that, and then you get a weather delay on Tuesday where they blow the horn. And it's like fans find, what was the word they used? Shelter. They're at a fucking golf course. Where are you going for shelter? I mean, we're in the compound, and we had buildings or setup areas where we couldn't go in.
Correct.
Where the hell are thousands of people supposed to go?
One of which was, where's the food? We were not allowed to go into the spot that had the food. Yeah, it's a lot. But that's what happens when you bring, 30, 40,000 people to an outdoor event that's spread out over zillions of acres. The weather is a factor. If it is, you got to figure it out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you're asking a lot for the fans.
Yeah.
You hear this course about it's redone. It's got area for the fans, suites setups, the whole thing. And then finally Wednesday we get out there and walk it. We walk the Green Mile, and I'm like, man, this thing is going to set up awesome, just the way it is.
Yep.
The way you have those reachable par 4s and the par 5s and the island hole on 17, and then 18, which again, it's a lot like Augusta. I have not been to Augusta, but I watch guys, and I'm like, why can't you just hit it right in front of the bunker and then hit it on the green? And then you went ahead and told the golfers that we were walking with, why don't you just put it in the fairway and then hit it on the green? What's so hard? And you walked off the width of the fairway. You're like,
30 yards.
It's 30 yards. How hard is this?
Hit it in the fairway. I was just trying to be helpful. I was trying to build the confidence that there was an ample area to hit a T-ball.
Yeah. And then that golfer you told ends up playing 18 with one shoe on.
That was JT.
Yeah.
Almost made an insane up and down on 18 from adjacent a rock. But
just going back, like the setup, I'm like, all right, it's going to be good. Like Saturday, Sunday, the 3 guys going off. Saturday morning is a disaster. We saw getting Rory's reaction, going to his tee time, and then having to wait 4 or 5 hours. But
he went from teeing off at 8:15 in one of the first groups to 1:45 off 10. And I mean, the way golf works, you get what you earn. If you're going off early, you earn that early tee time. So tough break. But when you go out early, you're playing the smoothest greens, no wind. You got a chance to hang a low number. And when you have to go late, you kind of got screwed by having the deck get reshuffled.
Yeah, and those guys are out early.
Correct. Well, they were there. They're there at 5 a.m, and then they end up having to tee off at 1:45. So,
but we get to Sunday. It's gorgeous. It's like 80, 85 degrees by the time Scottie tees off. And I was just happy that the fans got to experience. Saturday, I'm there when Bryson, gets the crowd, starts raising the arms on 16.
When he took the lead.
Yeah, walking to his ball, and then he bogeys that, hits it in the water on 17, and kind of took himself out of it, on Saturday afternoon.
He seemed really impacted by the wind, and he kept talking about it. When he talked to Marty before he went out Sunday, it was, hopefully I can get some good breaks with this wind. And
lucky. I need to get lucky.
I just need to get lucky with the win. And it's like, it seemed like he was in his own head about that. Look, it was one swing on 17 that he drops 2 shots, and it's compounded by the fact that Scottie Scheffler went nuclear for an hour and 15 minutes, where he went 5 under for 5 holes. Right, come here, boy. Don't bother.
So yeah, I mean, you had everything. I mean, great to see Rahm back in the mix
for sure. And then the Green Mile.
It gets him, and you wonder about the wherewithal. And I think,
I don't. I think you just that those holes are going to eat you up.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one if you had John Rahm top 5.
Really brutal.
Like, good God, because you thought 17 was bad and 18 was worse.
Yep. Well, I mean, when you've been in it and you've stayed patient. Rahm had a birdie putt on 13 that lips out.
Yeah, what a putt!
Hit what looked like a perfect shot on the drivable par 4 14th, and it bounced into the bunker instead of bouncing left. Then doesn't make the birdie on 15, and now if you get on tilt, I identify with that. I go, yep, that would be me. I'd be like, man, fuck this.
Yeah,
I've just hit a bunch of good shots, and none of them got rewarded, and now. It's not 14, 15. Now it's the 70th, 71st, and 72nd. Yeah. I'm out of time, and I'm chasing shout to Harris English. I said, what a Sunday, man. He goes, yeah, I play. He goes up, but I knew I wasn't going to chase down American Pharaoh. I think you know who you're chasing if you're Rahm.
Yeah.
And he tied him. him. And then
had a putt for the lead.
And it lipped. It had a great putt. I got some headlines just this week, and we can kind of dive into these. One, Scottie Scheffler, obviously, world number 1, didn't play great the first few days. And I always resist the Tiger comparisons because, as I said on the broadcast, they're patently unfair to both Tiger and the person you're trying to compare to Tiger. Here's the similarity. There's several. Number 1, first day, Scottie clearly wasn't great. No one in that group was. Xander and Rory scuffling along, couple over, whatever. At the end of the day, Scottie hits a great shot, makes birdie, he's 2 under. So at the end of the day, where he had not nothing, but didn't have his full array, under par. That's Tiger Woods in a nutshell. I cannot tell you how many times I saw him shoot 70 on a day that a lesser player that didn't have either the skill, the aptitude, or the mentality to just hunker down and stay in the fight would shoot 74. You know how easy it is? You see it. It's fractional. It's so easy to have a round that's not quite right turn into 2 or 3 over. Then you do that again the next day and you're done.
Johnny Vegas.
Right.
6 inches he missed.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
On 18 with the lead.
It's hard.
It's unreal.
It's hard to make something under par out of something that probably should have been over par. Scheffler did it day 1, does it on day 2, and he's 3 under. Now all of a sudden it's like, has Scottie played great? No, he's 3 off the lead. And then he goes bananas on Saturday afternoon, and you wake up Sunday morning, you're like, well, he's the best in the world, and he's 3 ahead of a guy who didn't play for 3 months because he tore his glute. And Alex Noren's a guy who's played in plenty of majors. It's just he hadn't played a ton and had not been in a final group like this. It was all Scottie's, but Scottie did not play great, and he backs up, but manages to not have the wheels fall off, even though he gets tied by Rahm. You just, a little bit like if you follow the Masters. If someone's tied with you, but they've played 13 and 15, and you're on 12 green safely over the water at Augusta, you're tied, but not really, because you're going to play 13 and you're going to play 15. You're probably going to make birdie. Well, Scottie was on 10. He still had 10. He still had 14. He still had 15. So there were chances. And when Scheffler made birdie and Rahm lipped that one out, it felt like I thought he weathered the storm. Big numbers are still out there, but Scottie Scheffler, the similarity to Tiger is the ability to make something out of not his best, and the other thing is just the pace at which he's winning. He's won now he's won more than 20% of his starts. Oh, I guess 18 out of 80-something. Tiger Woods won at almost a 30% clip, which is just it's just impossible.
You had it, right? 78 out of 200?
Yeah, there was the no laying up guys had the comparison of like, hey, you want to do the trajectory Scottie's on? He's got to basically win half of his next 100 and some odd starts to be even. And you're thinking, Scottie seems like he's on a pretty sick clip, and he is.
Yeah.
The rate at which Tiger Woods won golf tournaments relative to the number of times he played in golf tournaments is singular. But the two things that remind me most of Scottie to Tiger is he's able to shoot something under par when he's not great, and he's winning tournaments at an insane clip. And he's fiery. You saw more of that this week. He dropped a couple F-bombs. That's fine.
I love seeing him swear. People swear.
Thank you. That's why I never apologize for the language. Sometimes you hear a guy drop an F-bomb, and it's the tendency from on the TV side is to, oh, I'm sorry you heard that. I'm not. You play golf. It's what you do.
Yeah.
I will say this week was by far and away the most F-bombs I've ever heard, caught. Everyone was, and some were just registering in the red, like not muttering it, screaming it. People were pissed.
Clubs thrown.
Lots of them. I'm trying to be reasonable here. I'll just say it. I don't love Quail Hollow as a major venue.
Okay.
And here's why. It is a proper golf course for sure. Johnny Harris and the group down there, they want it to feel big. It does. I'm guilty of just exactly what you heard from the players. They play there every year. Coming up the Memorial at Jack's Place in Dublin. Incredible golf course. If you had a major there, you'd say, yeah, it feels worthy of a major. It's a big ballpark. It's incredibly well conditioned. But you play there every year. And so if you went and played the PGA there, you'd be like, okay, I think when you go to Oak Hill or Valhalla or Harding Park or Kiowa, the places we've gone since we've done it, these are places you either have not ever seen if you're one of the major players now, or you haven't seen in quite a while. And when you see a place that is a venue you've been to in the past, Rory said it. He's like, I was waiting to see what would feel different or look different. And it doesn't. And I think as great as the venue is, and again, I want to make sure that you're hearing me say this, Quail Hollow folks, it's awesome. But it's a tour stop every year. It's really hard to make something we see every year feel different because it isn't. Now, the leaderboard on a Sunday, when it's DeChambeau and it's Rahm and it's Scottie and there's some other guys lurking. Congrats to a bunch of guys that had really big weeks. Davis Riley and JT Poston had monster weeks. Our guy Harris English that might be his best ever major finish. He gets runner-up.
Gotta be T2.
T2.
He was in 36 Sunday morning.
Stay in the fight. But I'm interested because I had never been there. And walking it is soggy, yeah, I get it. But as you're walking, like, all right, it's a big-ass ballpark, and it's going to take I did an interview there locally, and I just said, look, by Sunday, the winner's going to be a name you're going to know. And the first couple of days, people are like, this leaderboard sucks. I'm like, stick around.
Yeah.
4 days, 4-day major golf. By the end of it, I promise it's going to look like what it looked like.
Well, I'm talking about a thing. I've never been to the Open. All right. So
the Open over
yonder across the pond.
Yeah. Get you some biscuits, proper English breakfast.
I'm good with food over there. Maybe I should go there because I won't eat.
Come on.
How many years do we do spending? I mean, you call them the Opens where they have names hanging around all weekend that we don't know.
Oh, it happens there all the time.
And like, we don't get mad at that because it's the Open and this and that and history and that. PGA, it is what it is, man. Like, everybody's playing the same deal, and I get that it's a stop on the tour, and they're trying to make changes, and it sounds like Johnny is just a fanatic when it comes to trying to upkeep and do changes. Every golfer we talk to that talks to him, his first, what do you think? You want to change? What do you want?
Well, what could be better?
What don't you like?
It's.
I'll tell you one. 9 is dumb.
9 seemed unnecessarily.
4 shots for a mile.
It's a long way. It's a long way for a par 4 to not have another option for the tee. That's the thing I thought. You give yourself a little bit of a forward tee. Don't have one there.
There's a road in the middle.
Kind of. That's an unnecessarily lengthy par 4 in my opinion, but it does come after a par 4 that you can drive. Like 7 and 8, you get a chance to score. The comeback could be, hey, It's a proper championship test. Sometimes you got to buckle up. But 5:30 on the card for a par 4.
Yeah, it was deep. I mean, we walked it with Wyndham on Wednesday. I mean, when he said he won it in 23, he hit driver pitching wedge.
And that's part of the reason why you back it up. Like,
Yeah.
they made the point that, hey, look, that was a dry week where they had the wind at our back. It was kind of an anomaly, and you don't need to change your golf course based on that necessarily. But Johnny Harris is a massively successful businessman who has created this place that is a big-time tour stop and a major championship venue, and he's a member at Augusta National. The question Augusta National asks itself every year at the end of the Masters is, what could be better? We know what's great, basically everything. Is there something that could be better? That's how people that are good become great. People that are great become all-time, is you don't rest on being good. You're trying to always get better at everything. I do think that when you constantly tweak, is every tweak going to be perfect? No. No one makes every single correct change and it's going to be widely loved or whatever else. But just on balance, in the end, it's Scottie Scheffler, who's the best in the world, who played awesome and won. And so you go, that's an appropriate outcome. Had it been John, would have felt the same way. Had it been DeChambeau, would have felt the same way. Whoever would have won, you can't fake it for 72 holes. But at the end of it, the people that were pissed about the leaderboard not feeling great, it shapes itself up. Mike Tirico's line, I think it came at the Open Championship, leaderboard gravity. Names will sink that you're not used to seeing. I'm glad Johnny Vegas stuck around and finished top 5.
Yeah.
That's the best major finish he's ever had. 40-year-old dude that has won a bunch on tour. I mean, 4 times to me is a bunch. It's hard to win anyone. Didn't go away. I'm glad he didn't. So I don't know. It was watching Scheffler grind. It started on that Monday in the rain when you made a great observation. Like, there's a lot of chit chat, a lot of, hey, what's up? And you said something about Scottie on Monday. You said he what?
Just looks like he's getting ready to play in a major.
He looks like he's preparing to play a tournament.
Yeah.
At all times. It's just how the guy carries himself. He's serious. He's stoic. He's fiery, man. He wants to be great. And now he's halfway to the Slam.
That's what I think. You saw the emotion, the hat slam. But I think, I talk about how much I love the mental thing. And Scottie's fascinating because it's hard to get in there, man. He's just an aw shucks guy all the time. And it was funny last night. He went out with McGinley and Lerner and Brandel, and McGinley says, "Hey, I saw Saturday you went back out in the range, whatever." And I guess McGinley and Scottie have had this thing about. He's like, "Why do you have to go out there after you just shot whatever 7 under?"
Iger did it,
and Scheffler's like, "Why do you have such a problem with how I go about things?" And they go,
was
back,
he smiling when he said it?
Oh yeah. Man, he's like, "We got to talk about it." He's like, "It's my routine. It's what I do. I had to work on some things, Monday, whatever." And then he admits to having to get a new driver, on that whole thing. And
that same thing happened to him that happened to Rory.
Yeah.
People are bringing up the Rory thing. Oh, he was cheating. Now, if you hit a driver apparently over and over and over and over again, the face will get thinned out and it becomes a trampoline effect.
Trampoline.
Shout out to Homer Simpson. So the same thing happened to Scottie last week.
Yes.
So he had to get a new driver.
Yep. And we get there. Andy's already there Sunday. He was at the course. Who's out there? Scottie Scheffler. He didn't play last week. So he was already getting everything ready
Monday
to go.
in the rain before the car wash came on.
Yeah. But I think what you saw with that emotion, because like you said, he's an aw shucks guy. He knew he got tested and he responded. Some of these things he's that CJ Cup a couple weeks ago, he's blowing Pat. Like, come on, you want to try and catch me?
31
Go
under.
ahead. But deep down, you lose a lead in a major and you're tied and another guy has a chance with a putt for the lead, misses it, you hear the roar or awe, whatever it is, 2 holes away, 12 and 10 are right next to each other, those greens. And seconds later, Nance mentions it. Let's see what Scottie did. That baby's going in, man. And right from there, it was in. You saw what he did Saturday on the Green Mile, and he knew. I mean, that's what's fascinating about these guys is, Max's shot Saturday or Friday on 14, or it's just perfect. And he admits the only person that could have done that if they wanted to, he's like, I did it by mistake, is Scottie. But then on Sunday, This guy's like, yeah, I want to hit it in the bunker to get it up and down for birdie. It's like, all I was thinking about was birdie there.
Yep.
And he does it. And Rahm does the same thing, but he can't get up and down.
I felt like Rahm's kick was unfortunate because I thought he threaded the needle and it bounced right. But you point out being tied, it didn't just being tied until you're tied with. And there are players that you know what they've got. And Scottie and Rahm going head to head in Ryder Cups, like those are heavyweights. That's Foreman, Frazier, Ali, like however you want to, like heavyweights. That's take two of them, put them together. That's them. You know who it is, and you know what they've got, and that would get your attention if it's that guy, or if it's DeChambeau, or if it was anyone of that group that had done it. And there weren't many. To be fair about this leaderboard, there weren't many that had. Those guys had. And so for Scheffler knows, all right, but he also knew he had the par 5 to play, and he also knew he had 14 and 15 to play. And you're right, there's an shucks, but then, I mean, Curtis had to soften it for TV, but we're just here so we can say it. When Scottie rolls out one in on 18 on Saturday and says, fuck yeah, baby, you're like... I said it on the broadcast the next morning. I said, you can lead a faith-based, purpose-driven life. That doesn't mean you're meek and you don't have a fire in your belly, man. God didn't say you got to, shucks your way through life. You're allowed to fight hard. And he does, and he did. And I don't know. He's a great player. He's a really cool dude. He's a gentleman.
Yeah.
Smiles easy. He's, but he was working when we saw him Monday, so he came over and he said, hey, and when a guy's working, we talked to Lucas Glover for half an hour about Clemson and NIL because he sort of invited the conversation, but you see what it is. When a man like Kep guy, I wanted to go talk to him about his
way.
I wanted to go over and say, hey, Panthers in 6, because it was 2-2.
Yeah.
But I saw a man who was at work, and I'm like, nope, not going to bother him.
Nope.
You understand that. Lucas, we had a great conversation about all the different things down at Clemson and what's going on and football and whatever else. He played pretty well. I don't know where Lucas finished, but 45-year-old dude who's got a bunch of game, and fun to see Lucas and talk shop. But we saw Scottie, and he
+1.
What did he finish?
+1.
All right. Hey, 4 rounds of championship golf. He was working hard that Monday on a number of different things. And so we didn't go over and, stand around while he was working because he was working. I did send him a note to tell him that last year, a lot of because you heard about it, it's one of the bigger events of the summer. I won a par 3 tournament down at Midway par 3. And so anytime he won an event, I would send this picture of me with this giant trophy. And I'd say, yeah, it's cool, but you didn't win this. Finally, he's not a big return texter. Finally, he's like, that's great. How many times are you going to send me this picture? I said, you won a trophy bigger than the one I won. I will never send it again. That was the rule. You win the Wanamaker, there'll be no more chirping from me about winning it at Midway. You know who didn't win?
6-figure?
No, I don't know how we do the Siwoo Kim stories. I just want to say, Siwoo Kim is your favorite player's favorite player.
Yes. All of them. I don't care who your favorite player is.
He's just a delight. Stories are just hard enough to tell without feeling like maybe they probably shouldn't be told. Just Siwoo Kim. I see you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Salute you.
I think it was Colt on the broadcast. He brought it up. He's like, he must bring out the best in everybody because he played with Scottie Saturday and then he played with Rahm on Sunday.
Yep. Please tell me. He finished top 10?
Yeah.
That's at least 6 figures.
Yep.
It's a good 6-figure week.
Try.
Yeah. Got to do. That's what you told me. Just try.
Yeah. Can I make an observation?
Of course.
It's hard to do after Scottie brought his infant son into the scores room and put him on the floor and said, play with my hat. But the fans that bring these infants to the golf tournament, and it's 85 degrees, I don't know how and why you do it.
Yeah, I see it a lot, and I think it in my head on the broadcast, and I'm like, why this child is going to overheat? They're not going to have any fun. I guess it's like, hey, we can't get a babysitter when we want to go.
Not the kid having fun. You're not going to have any fun.
No, you can't smash $19 ultras.
I don't understand it. I can't. They're not going to remember it. I'll tell you that. They're not going to remember seeing Scottie Scheffler at Quail Hollow win a major.
No.
But I every poor parent I saw just looked absolutely miserable, and I'm like, just don't do it.
90 degrees and you have a child that's just not having any fun. They're overheating. It's tough.
And then they got these giant strollers, but they end up holding the baby the whole time.
Right, because you couldn't really push your way through the mud.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Good venue. Feels like a proper one. It's just, for me, and from so many of the players, just the fact that you go there a lot, I think you're does it fall flat? Is that the right way to put it? Yes and no, because it still felt huge. It's just, I think it's just me just being selfish, frankly. You just want to see a place, Aronimink next year in Newtown Square and up in Philly. Like, it's, of course, I have,
Philadelphia.
There'll be a lot of go Birds. Guys went nuts the week before. I think seeing places you haven't seen, seeing the older joints that you get one chance in the sun, I don't know. It's just maybe more fun.
Hospitality was tremendous.
But PGA of America does an awesome job.
Unbelievable.
We appreciate them having us. We hope we did our job well. I mean, we're on TV for like 13 hours trying to yuck it up and give you the context, have some fun. I think we did that. I love the group we're with. I don't know. I know there's one listener in our crew, Dave Fleming. What an absolute gem of a human being that man is. He's so good at what he does. And he's just such great company, and our whole crew is. We spent a lot of time hanging out together, watching playoff games, having a bite after meals. It's an awesome crew. I'm honored to be part of that one.
Yeah, and behind the scenes, Becca and her crew are freaking rock stars the way they
beyond.
Do that. I mean,
absolutely beyond.
The logistics of that compound.
Every television compound I've ever been part of at a major championship has some variety of this. Gray, gravelly rocks. It rains, which turns into mud. Then it becomes dust. And it's just people are walking just zombies because they've been at it. They've been at it for hours and hours and hours on end. And people all know what they signed up for. They signed up for 60, 120, 180. They signed up for whatever the max is. They signed up for it. But the folks behind the scenes that keep us going in the right direction are awesome. You know who's not awesome? Gordo. Double hammers. Jesus Christ. What are we going to do with our guy? He's fast climbing the ranks of my favorite humans at ESPN, which is hard to do. That list, very difficult to crack. Are we calling Gordo?
See if he answers.
FaceTiming Gordo. He's on Pinehurst with his dad.
Oh, he's napping in a cabin.
Well,
we'll see if he calls.
Both the double hammers lost, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did he?
They did make a comeback.
Did DeChambeau a single hammer? Remember, he was going to make that. That got there, didn't it?
Well, not official.
What do you mean?
It wasn't a double hammer.
But it was a single hammer.
Now we're counting single hammers?
I mean, if the doubles don't hit, you got to say, hey, I hit you. There were a bunch of props that hit. He gave you some folks to miss the cut on that page-long list of things that didn't get there. So maybe, I don't know, if you played them all, he didn't break even, but he's 0 for 3 on double hammers and majors.
Yeah. What are we going to do there?
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to stay in the fight.
Okay.
We're going to redouble our efforts. I'm speaking for Gordo, as Gordo. We're going to grind, crunch numbers. We're going to look for an elite sequence, another elite sequence. We're going to stack elite sequences one after another. And we're going to stay in the fight. What are you going to punt? Just go, hey, I'm not going to do it at Oakmont. Fuck that.
No, he'll keep firing.
Yeah.
Just have to replenish the funds.
That's a little bit of a problem.
That's all.
There was one broadcaster who came to the compound. He's like, where's Gordo? He killed me. So leave him nameless.
Just how mad you are that you took it. He's mortified.
Yeah, but he said, and listen, he's not one of those guys that makes excuses. He's like, I'm being eviscerated and I deserve it.
Yeah.
But we walked with Justin Thomas, Max Homa, and Maverick McNeely, who played well Sunday.
Yeah.
And he's a former caddy, so he's out grinding the numbers, trying to make sure that that he's got the math right and whatever. And then the guys know him. Like Homa knows him. And he's like, wait, that's the guy that always knows the first round leaders. He's like, I want to talk to him. He's some sort of genius. And so the guys have gotten to know Gordo, and so Gordo has these exchanges, and he knows how to play the game. Not play the game. He knows how to act. He acts right. He's not some fanboy. He's an adult, carries himself awesome. But then he'll come over after an exchange, and he'll be like, that was an elite sequence. Elite sequence. Like, you had a good sequence? Yeah. That was a subpar sequence. It's just the whole broadcast. I mean, not the whole broadcast. We're on for 13 hours. I'm just slipping and do it for Gordo anytime Cam Young does something. Calling things elite sequences. You just do, little Easter eggs for your buddy. You look over and you see the twinkle in his eyes because he knows we're repping him. But those double hammers, the big one obviously was Mount Rushmore of active flusher, Corey Connors.
I told Corey Connors about the conversation. After he had a practice round after the pod, I said, "Hey, just so you know, we had a conversation on our podcast that and you were coined on the Mount Rushmore of active flushers." He's like, "Great, I love that. Thank you very much."
He was excited to learn that he was on the Mount Rushmore. The problem is he was not on the Mount Rushmore of Canadian finishers. At least not number one. That would be Taylor Pendrith.
68 on Sunday.
In your eye hole, Gordo.
Right in your eye hole, Gordo.
Xander was trying to grind out a T20 and had it there for a minute, made his second double of the week on 16.
Yeah, Gordo got really affected on Saturday because he was counting on Xander going out early and putting up a number, but then he gets pushed back with Rory.
Got to really,
like I said, the logistics were just.
Think of Gordo. Think of Gordo. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, I realize there's 8 million other things that happen. For folks that aren't immersed in the golf world, you're like, we're really doing an hour? We were there. This was our life for the last week. Yes.
About Rory.
Never talked once. The fact that Scottie also had his driver pulled, I'm happy it happened just so it doesn't turn into this, Rory cheated and won the Masters. It's like, no, the testing of these drivers apparently is pretty willy-nilly. A little bit like getting speeders on the highway. Like, are we pulling everybody over? Well, you can't pull everybody over. Well, can you test everybody? I don't know how. And Scottie spoke to this about, like, what are we going to do from a testing standpoint? But that explains why on Monday we saw him out there with a bunch of drivers.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to get one. Because if we've used a driver too long and now it's non-conforming, all right.
Boy, did he need it on that course, as we touched on.
Yeah, I asked our group and our players, the Andys and Curtises that would know what it is to win a major and what happens afterwards. I said, everybody says he's going to get freed up. I wonder, like, do you hit a finish line? And you just feel human nature. Like, you relax a little because you're not fueled by the same thing anymore. And I don't think 1 week's enough to know. But I just am curious how much of that Augusta got my nose across the line, as they say over in Europe, was a finish line. Gordo's checking in.
You're live on the podcast. Do you want to apologize?
Jesus Christ. Oh, God. What's up, guys?
Gordo, he said, what are we going to do about this? I said, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to stay in the fight. We're going to redouble our efforts. They're going to be ready for Oakmont. Did I guess correctly?
I don't know. I'm thinking about canceling vacation.
Oh, man. Why?
I had this conversation with myself last night, and I'm trying to figure out, like, is this cooked or was it good reads and it just the ball, they just didn't get the bounces.
What do you think?
What did you come to yourself as a conclusion?
My conclusion was everybody goes through slumps, right?
Yeah. Even the great ones.
So we're 2 for 7 this year.
Ouch.
That's really bad.
Yeah.
There were some other good picks. There were some other
I mentioned those.
Yep, we mentioned it.
I mentioned that if you
DJ to miss the cut, all-timer.
Matsuyama to miss the cut.
Fraud.
Can't lay.
Denny had a good week. Harris English had a good week. But yeah, this is tough. I feel like this is the first extended slump. And I don't know. I said, what would Steve say, if he's having like 5 or 6 consecutive really bad practices at Stanford? Like, is he gonna quit? I don't think so.
Well, wait.
I don't know.
Well, wait.
Try doing a season of bad picks on College Game Day, Gordo.
There's an apples to apples comparison. The guy was putting picks on the fridge and they sucked for a year with a massive audience who is going to heckle you unmercifully if they are bad. And that happened to him. And what did he do? He came back. What were you this year, Steve?
A bunch over 500. We came back.
That's the inspiration I was looking for.
That's
honestly.
it.
It's just like this, Xander +2 on the green mile to miss by 1. The Pendrith hat tip to you, man. I mean, just wow.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right. Do you have
do
you have money to tip the caddies at Pinehurst?
No.
That's why your dad's there with you.
Yeah, but
I'll Venmo you money. I'll advance you money to make sure we'll make sure you're whole for this. I can't have what happened impacting what's next. You're with your pop, you're going to Pinehurst.
Yeah.
But you're going to be graded through the double hammer lens. That's what that became a thing. I mean, you made it your brand. We wanted to amplify that brand here, but now like it's pressure. You feel the pressure. It's not like you can escape it, right?
The reason why there's so much pressure is because I always feel so good about the picks, and it's supposed to be cashing in the high 70s, and we're 2 for 7. And look, they could have gone. I think they should have both won. This is it's honestly like the Duke Houston game where I still feel like Corey Connors is going to beat Pendrith, and it's Monday after. I still feel like he's going to win. Like there's been other weeks where this is dead. Like this is really dead.
Yep.
There wasn't a single 3-hole stretch the whole week where I didn't think Xander was going to finish top 20. I still think he's going to finish top 20.
He's not. He's not.
You got to turn the page.
It hasn't really. Like, I still think Connors is going to beat Taylor Pendrith, but they're not playing anymore, and it's not really processing. It could be from a lack of sleep, but I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Well,
what was the single hammer? Bryson top 5?
Top 10.
Top 10.
And that cashed.
That cashed.
And you nearly made that a double hammer.
Yeah.
And see, I've lived that for years with winners. That's why winners has grown to just being however many picks I feel. Because like when I wouldn't give out Rice plus 18 in the hook, and they somehow would get there, I'm just furious. I'm furious. This, you know what I feel so awesome about is that I've told the story about Boomer watching the games in the big, gigantic room at ESPN, and he was freaking out about a result. And I'm like, boom, what's wrong? And he's like, I swat him. And I'm like, you're Chris Berman. Who gives a shit? You know what? But then I gave out picks on winners, and then I've lived what that is, like the agony of it, because you want to get it right for the people. Now I feel like this is me passing the baton to you, because now you have an elevated sort of audience for these picks, and now I don't want it to ruin your time in Pinehurst, but I do want it to hurt enough that it's going to ensure that the work will continue and be elevated.
The work will continue.
Okay.
It will be elevated. Well, there will probably be a couple hammers before Pinehurst.
There we go. Make sure they're double.
Hey, can I ask a question?
The Monday hammers are tough. But that's no excuse.
Okay.
Have you considered this? Because this is what Boomer used to do. If he was down, he'd just triple hammers.
No shot.
Do it.
No shot.
Make him triple hammers. Because Boom would get to the end of the year and he'd be like, this game's worth 10. You're like, what? How do you get to just arbitrarily assign more value to another one? But, all right.
Hey, speaking of doubles, throw a double in that first transfusion before you tee off, and you'll be nice and oiled up.
Awesome. And at some point, I got to tell you this story of
all right
of my dad. And shoes in the trash is the headline of that story.
All right, that's when we catch up with you in advance of Oakmont, we'll hear about shoes in the trash.
All right, thanks guys.
All right, see you, Gordo.
Later.
All right,
peace.
All right, that's what we wanted
Gordo.
to hear. That's a man that's
we got him right.
He's bloodied but unbeaten.
Yeah,
right.
Very bloodied.
Yeah, it means leaking.
Stitches.
Not leaking like this wound on my leg. That's always a good one. Got out of the car to go to the hotel in Charlotte, and I scraped the door against my leg and didn't realize it had happened. Went to the room. In the room, looked down, blood all over my pants. I'm like, Jesus, what happened here? Oh, I see. And I had this wound. So today I dropped my stuff at the dry cleaner, and the dry cleaner is this awesome guy that we kind of make fun of the fact that I seem to always have food on my clothing. And I said, I got a new one for you. Human blood. Is it your own? Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I leaked all over the pants.
We landed in Charlotte Sunday evening,
Nope.
And you didn't even make it to the first meal, and you had blood on you.
Bleeding. Wounded. But I played hurt for you, America. My God, we've talked a long time about this, and there's a lot to get to.
Let's do it.
All right, well, there's a time that people are willing to give you. Is there? I just want to start. I want to start hockey, and I want to start Toronto. I don't know how those people do it. They don't win. Shout out to Biz and Oldie, but my God, their last two home games, they got debacled. In Florida from the jump last night, it was just, oh boy, they're way better. And it's 3-0 in a blink. Could have been 4. I thought, I don't know, I took that goal away from Jones. I don't think he kicked it. Did he?
Yeah.
Whatever. They didn't need it.
Correct.
6-1. I thought, I'm a Maurice guy. Love the dude. Love everything about how he does it. That team, was it 3 straight years in the Eastern Conference Finals? Look, as a Caps guy, I watched Carolina. They look really good, but I don't know what you do to beat the Panthers because the Leafs had them 2-0 and 2-0.
Yeah.
Well, and then they lost the last 2 games they played on their home ice, 6-1 and 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost 7 straight Game 7s. I saw on Spit and Chicklets this morning. This is astounding. And I want to get the math right. I don't know the context of since whatever, but it's in the last 20 years ish. The Buffalo Sabres have won twice as many playoff series as Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Buffalo Sabres haven't played in the playoffs in 14 years. And this is a town clearly that cares deeply about it, and it's impossible to lose the same way every year, where it's more excruciating each time, and then they do it. I don't know. Florida's a wagon. Feels like Florida Edmonton again. What's us? Then I say that I thought Dallas was going to. I'm like Gordo. I thought Colorado was going to beat Dallas, and after the series was over, I was like, I thought Colorado was better. Nope, they're done, and Dallas is still trucking.
What's crazy is we talk about how much we love this tournament, and now we get to the conference finals, and they're both basically pick-em series. Florida minus 125, Canes plus 105, Edmonton and Dallas are both minus 110 for the series.
Who do you like?
Something about this Dallas team, man.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
You got an absolute. This ain't a wagon. This is a freaking train coming in. There's nothing better in the sport to watch than when Edmonton's rolling. I'm sorry, there's nothing. When they're going, it's unbelievable. I was trying to see if there was any to win the cup odds now.
I feel like I don't know how
it's
you beat.
How do you make a favorite?
I don't know how you beat Florida. I don't know how you beat Edmonton. I think, and then the two of them will play, and then one or beat the other. That's what it feels like to me. But you're right about Dallas. And look, I saw Carolina for 5 games. They're excruciating to play against.
You would rather lose like the Caps did to the Canes than the Leafs. Take the history out of it. You would rather lose like the Caps did to the Canes or the Leafs to the Panthers?
I mean, I think getting drubbed on home ice twice in a row, 6-1, is a pretty sickening indictment of what you lack. I mean, Washington just couldn't score, and like that, it's 1-1 in the game at home, and it's very late, and then all of a sudden they get weird angle goal late, and you're like, fuck, this is how it ends.
Yeah.
And the answer is yeah. And that series, the first game that you and I went to, that they led 1-0 and then lost 2-1 in overtime, and then the game they lost at home 2-1, they got an empty netter fine, 3-1. Would I rather lose that way? Yeah, I would. I'd rather lose that way, even though it's painful and it was just like death by a million paper cuts. To just get dump trucked twice in a row on your home ice and have it be 7 straight Game 7 losses, it makes you look inward and say, what are we doing? I think I'd rather lose the way the Caps lost. It wasn't fun.
No one said losing is fun.
I get it, but 6-1, 6-1. Like, that just shows you, I mean.
Yeah, but you're taking out your season on the line, going there against the defending champs and winning and restoring all the belief. Like
then you're Charlie Brown running up to kick the football again, and then it's like, what are you, nuts? I think that's it. Those people, those thousands of people up, they're all packed in there. They're happy. They're excited. They're passing around the Canadian flag. And Florida's like, hey, tell me when you're ready.
Yeah.
Because we're here. And it was just an onslaught.
The second period was more impressive than the first.
No question.
I mean,
although in the first,
I still don't understand the shots on goal thing, because they had more. Like, the puck was thrown at Bob in the first period, and then they were like, "Oh no, that's their first shot attempt." I'm like, one guy just missed right. Like, he had an open shot. That doesn't count.
The puck's on net, Steve.
Well, sometimes it misses the net.
That's right.
But still a shot.
Not on goal. The on goal describes the thing.
It's a shot. It's
not on goal.
A beaver tail's a shot.
Saucer pass?
We have no idea what we're saying.
No, I hear the things and I just repeat them. I know what a saucer pass is.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I got caught after one of the games. There was like a watch party for the Caps, like down on the mall.
Huh?
It was depressing. Compared to what you see with Toronto, the Peg, like all the, like, just stay at home and watch the game.
We're good?
Yeah.
What was it, like 9 people in a lawn chair?
Yes. It was brutal looking. Just stay home. Or
Okay.
go to Fat Pete's and watch the game.
There you go. That's a good suggestion.
Florida is your favorite at plus 230 to win the Cup.
They're really hard to get rid of. That's a group that clearly has belief. You hear Maurice talk about the makeup of the group and how in the room you wouldn't know who's the best player in the room. I think that's really interesting. Just the dynamic. I've talked so much about it through the years. The way hockey guys talk about the room and how it's an organic thing. I think it's awfully important. Seems to be. I wouldn't know. I've never been in the room, but
yeah. And it was Matthew Tkachuk went on with those guys this morning. And they gave him every chance to talk junk to Biz and the Leafs. And he just said, I can't imagine what it's like to have to play in that city. He's like, that's a damn good team.
Yeah,
like, for
sure.
They're really good.
Well, that's
but the shit they got to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, to not get over, like, you bring in Berube. All right, it's a new regime. Now they're talking about the core 4 and all this. Like, it reminds me of, like, and then we're going to get to the Knicks. But it reminds me of those Red Sox, Cubs. Like, you're trying everything, man. You're spending money. You got an unbelievable fan base, home venue, the whole 9, and you just can't do it.
No,
like, it'll test you to, let alone the fans. How about the guys making decisions? People are getting fired for it.
For sure, and there's something to be said about, well, why'd they win on Game 6 on the road? Because they were on the road.
Yeah.
Because you're not carrying with you this angst of what's going to happen. And thinking something bad's going to happen. And then, I don't know. You saw it. I can't remember. Excuse me. I can't remember. At some point, you saw one of the Leafs. I think it might have been. I don't know if it wasn't Marner. Someone's just screaming, "Wake the fuck up!"
Oh, that was Marner.
Was it?
Oh yeah. Then his head was down on the.
Well, yeah, that was tough.
Bench, brutal. Marchand also got biz with the Belief.
Yeah, we had Belief.
Funny.
That was. Those two have great sort of thing going, but I don't know how you beat Florida. But then again, I'm sure Dallas and the Canes.
No, Carolina's going to get pucks on net.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. That series would be awesome. That starts Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah, we got a break with sports, huh?
Yeah, nothing Monday. It was hard seeing Marner. It was excruciating seeing Mark Scheifele try to process everything. And look, as someone, you and I both know what it is as a son to lose a pop. It's heavy. It's a lot. We could never know what it is to lose them unexpectedly and then have to go out and try to play a game 6 when you're that guy. And then he scores the goal for them that then takes a penalty in the last waning 10 seconds that Mark Messier said should have been a penalty shot by his estimation, but he dives on the ice, takes a penalty, and then they get to overtime, but then the game ends on a power play goal with him in the box. And the shot of him, I get emotional. The shot of him, just, I can't imagine how empty you feel, and I can't imagine how the weight of the world just you crumble under the weight of that. But then the absolute beauty of this sport and seeing that handshake line took a long ass time.
Well, before that, his teammates skating over to the box.
Oh, well, for sure, for sure. Yeah,
you know what's coming. After that, that's
of course, his teammates rally to him, and that's beautiful because that's the love of the room and what
he's the guy.
Correct.
He's not saved the Jets for the last how many amount of years, Scheif,
and he's not a guy. He's the guy.
Yeah. And
so to see them, like I was done when I saw that. And then when I saw, I think it was Ben that got to him first, and didn't Ben hit him like the game before? And there's this big long hug, and it's just like, hockey's the fucking best. Mm-hmm. It's so pure, and you maul each other for 6-7 games, whatever it is, and then there's that respect, but it's beyond respect in that moment. It's the compassion that it's just. It's beautiful, man. It was really something to see. And still right now, as I sit here, I think I just feel so horrible because something so unexpected happens. And now you got to go about laying your dad to rest. Your season's over. And I don't know, man. That's just a lot. It was just a lot. And credit to Dallas. And it's wild because like Wischusen and Cali do such a great job, and he's got a great call, and it's like, series over. And there's the adrenaline and excitement of that.
That's in Dallas.
Of course, and they're going nuts, and there's joy. But I couldn't see it through that lens. I couldn't. But anyway, I salute him and the Jets, and then that Dallas side for the way they understood the moment for what it was. But that, to me, just seems to be what hockey is. So it's Stars, Oilers, it's Panthers, Hurricanes. That's the finals in the Stanley Cup in the respective conferences. We're going to have a new champion in the NBA. You've always said, give us some new blood. We're going to get some new blood.
Thank God. Isn't it awesome?
It really is.
It is.
It's really awesome because as you sit here right now, you're like, okay, SGA wins a title. Ant wins a title. Brunson wins a title. Halliburton wins a title. And then obviously all of the respective people on these teams. But one of those guys becomes I always talk about majors, you become a forever guy. You win a chip in the NBA, you become a different dude. And it's a chance to elevate for guys who've already elevated into rare places. And it's exciting. It's exciting. I think on the one hand, you go, well, and SGA, like superstar. That feels like the most juice. Garden, and people talking about, New York, you're acting like, right, save it for later. Like, what are you guys doing? Don't do that. I agree. I saw Big Cat this morning, and we completely agree. You got to enjoy the moments as they're happening. You're going to say, no, don't be happy. Stop being happy. We'll be happy later. Later might not come. You're here right now. Enjoy it.
You don't have to tell New Yorkers that.
Well, clearly you don't.
I mean,
7th Street.
I mean, good Lord.
Do you regret not playing for the Knicks? I mean, those people, the side talk clips are incredible.
God.
Everyone is Big Body Bess. Everyone. Everyone is just yelling, and it's just incredible. Incredible. I can't quote any of it.
No. I asked Fleming, I believe, or no, was it Fleming? Whoever. Somebody this week. We've not a fan of either, but like the Red Sox drought, the Cubs drought. That's 100 years, okay?
For sure.
This is 50 plus.
In New York City.
Correct.
Basketball.
And I think like some of the best times I had, coming home from college or whatever, like, my brother was in New York City, like the Spreewell Knicks teams, I was all in on. I'd come home from college, boom, playoff games, we're going, the Garden, incredible, got to experience that. The LJ game, just mayhem, and all having buddies that are absolutely diehard Knicks fans. And I grew to appreciate it when I went away to school. Like, I really wasn't into it. I didn't like Jordan. I didn't like the Knicks when that was going on, early 90s. But when I went away to college and then Spreewell comes to the Knicks, you have the lockout. They go to the NBA Finals. Like, that run was incredible. Being home and seeing that, being able to feel it and go to the games, like, that was unbelievable. And change of ownership's bad moves. Like, it's died. But, like, these people that have lived it, I just can't get over. And like I said, you're not going to tell them what they can do or feel. But then you factor in, all right, in order to get there where you haven't been since 1999, the Pacers. Reggie Miller is going to be calling the games in the Garden. Like, that's like going back, like that's 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's almost half of this window where they haven't had it. Yeah, and but I just don't. How much more is I didn't live it, but 100 years, like, that's the next craziest thing that we've had. I feel like is the Knicks trying to win a title compared to what those were. And I get it; it's double the length, but like what those people, like every person I know has lived this one. Does that make sense at all?
100%. And I think of New York as a sports town, and I've seen the Giants be great. Obviously, we've seen the Yankees be great. Seen the Rangers. It was a while ago. Islanders had runs. Well, Long Island, New York don't feel the same, but I don't think I have to explain that.
No, there's enough, though.
But I agree, but it's still not the Garden.
Correct.
The Knicks in the Garden, and I've said it for as long as I've been doing this, because as long as I've been doing this, I've been right. They're like the Dallas Cowboys of football. You can talk about them. The Garden. Cool. The Garden's a place great players go to go do great things against them.
Mm-hmm.
What have you done that's mattered? I get it. Ewing's so close and was a great player. A great player. Not able to get over the hump. So largely they've been what the Knicks have been as a venue. Not a team that's mattered. But now that venue is... And it's going to get overrun. Like, let's not forget the Edie Falcos that have been there. Let's not forget my guy, Action Bronson. Toes on the wood. Halliburton, I'm here for you. I don't know what he said yet. He did predict a sweep against
to
my hater-ass friend. Tatum gets hurt. Does it
Game's
impact?
over.
That game was over. Celtic fans are going to look back forever and go, I have no idea how we lost games 1 and 2. I don't either, but you did. And this Knicks team, it's wild to watch, man. It's a bunch of Brunson he's going to make something happen, but holy crap, does he make stuff happen. And I'm excited to see the Garden. I'm excited to see the Knicks. But anybody that talks about that series and doesn't acknowledge what the Pacers are, You're probably going to have to at some point real soon when the series starts.
Be careful.
They started like crap this year, and I've said it on, I think here, but I know I've said it on SportsCenter. I was definitely guilty of just sort of being like, whatever. You guys went to the conference finals last year. You're I don't know. You got a bunch of guys, it's Neesmith and Nembhard and people like that don't feel like the superstar players because they're not marketed as such. Halliburton's got a unique and interesting way of playing, but that's diminishing what he is. If the game's there to be won, like it's him and Shea right now that are like high on the list of guys that are just bucket getters when it matters. This is my way of saying I think the Pacers are going to win that series.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just look at the versatility, how many guys they play. They don't look like guys that will mix it up, but they got guys that are going to mix it up. Neesmith's not afraid. Turner's not afraid. McConnell's going to pick you up full court. You're going to have to deal with that the whole series. And Halliburton's flamboyant. Is that a word?
Yeah, it is.
You know, like nobody's like him. I mean, the way he shoot, and I've said it before, I did not see this when he was at Iowa State. Not once when I was watching him at Iowa State. And I probably could say the same thing about Brunson. At Villanova, a solid player.
For sure. And, it's ironic that Stephen A. back when Nova had that group famously said they didn't have any pros, and now that's the Knicks.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Like, that's his squad.
But I get that's a credit to those guys getting better.
No doubt.
You know, because that league and that draft is something I think you and I get so perplexed by a lot of times. It's like, you're going to take this guy?
Yeah.
I just watched this guy play college basketball. And I always go back to the Warriors because what did they do? They took Steph. They had Clay, Draymond, guys that I knew that I watched in college. Like, those guys could do it. I know they could do it.
Play a ton of winning college basketball.
Correct.
With great coaches.
And then, you get obviously you got your Euros coming in and how much difference makers in that. And then, Dirk winning, that gave it validity and Jokic. But, like, it feels like the way these contracts are getting in this league, you better cash in right away. Like, what do you do if you're the Celtics?
I don't know, and you've heard me say it a million times in the 20-some-odd years I've done this. If you have a chance to win it, you better do it.
Strasburg.
Again?
Strasburg. Remember that one?
Of course. Shut him down. Shut him down, save him for later. Well, as it turned out, it was awesome because Strasburg was the guy for the Nats in that one little window they got, and they did it. Mm-hmm. Nationals won a World Series. All 4 on the road at Houston. But when you have this window, there's a tendency to say it's going to last for quite a long time. And if you're lucky, it does. But I don't know what you do. Tatum could miss. They said doing the surgery, apparently there's some thought that will help ramp up the time, or I should say diminish the time that you need to recover. But you potentially have a lost 25-26 season for him.
Oh, yeah. That I don't know how. And everybody that's had it says you don't feel like yourself for at least 18 months.
And they got decisions to make in an off season.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do. The point is, that's why, again, New York Knicks fans, you're not going to tell a New Yorker what to do or say or feel, but you also shouldn't minimize the fact that you're on the cusp, 4 wins away from making a chance to play for a chip. And when that chance comes, you have to make it count because it may not come again.
Yeah, and I like we talk about the Knicks with the heartbreak and they were never going to beat the Spurs in '99, but like the Pacers with Reggie and those teams going. I mean, the Malice at the Palace, that they were the best team in the NBA, and they gutted their team. You go back even further, Reggie having to beat Jordan and the Bulls, Game 7, right there. Larry Bird coaching.
I'm sure Pacers fans listening to this would say, "Are you worried about how the Knicks feel?"
Yeah,
we don't have
talk about.
Right, we don't have a mile-long list of stuff that we dealt with.
I've always and the factor in this one is Carlisle. I've always loved Carlisle.
Yep.
And he's not going to give you much, but now that the stakes are this high, you'll get him. He'll let you know what he thinks. And then going back to the other side, I think I probably won't get talked about. But I want to know from somebody from Seattle that roots for the Thunder. You think there's anyone?
No.
That was rough, man.
No, it was bullshit is what it was. Yeah. And it's people, young people might not even understand, like the Cleveland Browns are the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
But Baltimore left, and the Indianapolis Colts are the Baltimore Colts. Like there's history here. We've seen it. But Seattle, like the Sonics felt like they were such a part of the fabric of that place. Mm-hmm. No one in Seattle's rooting for this team. No, absolutely not.
And with I keep seeing that, Sonics won in 79, and they're saying that's the last time the Thunder won a title. I'm like, you can't do that anymore. You can't. It's the Thunder, because on top of that, Oklahoma City has, the tragedies they've had in that city, and knowing what that is as a fan base, going to Norman and seeing what Oklahoma games are like,
right,
and factoring that in, like that's the only show in town.
And there's talk about bringing our show to the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, you haven't been there, right?
No, and I want to go both those places. So I'm not positive what we're going to do. Discussion's sort of ongoing, but my hope is that we'll get the show out there to either or both places at some point in that series. What are you liking that series?
I looked at the price. I took Minnesota plus the price.
What is it?
Plus 285.
That's astounding.
The
term value has become just completely diminished because people use it that don't know what it means. But a team that's that good at that number, it certainly shows you what Vegas thinks of OKC.
And that's what I want to say. I've been the biggest proponent of OKC for years. Like, I remember a couple years ago, the NBA schedule comes out. I'm like, we don't have one OKC game at prime time. Like, get behind this team. It's coming.
Best watch on television, Stanford Steve.
No doubt. But I will say, Denver made them look normal at times.
Well, you look at the New York-Boston end games of games 1 and 2, Denver could easily have come out of that series if they were better in the last couple of minutes against games, and they had Porter that was injured. Gordon gave you what he could in a Game 7 where the Thunder, that just felt inevitable. Porter can't go, Gordon's hurt, and that's unfortunate, but the Nuggets nearly won several games that the Thunder were just better in late. And the Thunder could go, can we discuss the Gordon thievery in Game 1?
Yeah.
Of course, that happened too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it's fascinating because I look at what Ant has done and what we think of him as a player. And, like, you go through LeBron and Steph gets hurt, but you're still beating a brand in the Warriors. Like, that road is pretty nuts. But then you have OKC, like, right where they want it to be. And I do think of Minnesota fans as we're talking fan bases. That city hasn't had much luck.
Been a long time since the Twins.
I mean, Vikings
lost a lot.
Go
back to my man Hubie Plunkett. Kirby Puckett. My grandfather. My grandfather couldn't hear. Scotino. This Hubie Plunkett. Hubie Plunkett? Yeah, Hubie Plunkett. Kirby Puckett? Yeah. He couldn't hear. He called him Hubie Plunkett.
No, that's a great sports city. It's phenomenal. So I couldn't be happier with the way the conference finals have played out.
It is exciting because it will be new, and I don't think the way the cards come out of the deck and how it rates doesn't impact. I mean, I work for the place. Sure,
I shouldn't say I don't.
If the ratings are great, yay. As a fan, we're going to see somebody new against somebody new on the biggest stage this sport's got.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exciting.
No doubt.
Because this sport really needs that, especially as LeBron's 40. Steph couldn't go late, wasn't age. It was just a hamstring. But, like, you got to deal with the reality that this is what it's going to be not too long from now. You took the Timberwolves.
I did. I took and the Pacers.
I like them both as well. The versatility of the Thunder, like throwing Caruso on Jokic, is
genius.
It is, but they also, there's this thing where they just isn't understood where you're going to let a small guy bully a big guy, and it's just like, sorry. Like, that's a foul. And Caruso, obviously, is a guy we like very much.
Love him.
He's a tremendous, tremendous player. And he also understands I'm going to play physically until they call it. And if they're not going to call it, then I'm going to do that. They just let you maul big people.
Yeah, but I think I watched it and I was like, wow, the flopping by Jokic even looks worse.
Okay.
Against a small guy.
Okay.
That's the way I watched it. Because at some point it's like, dude, you're stronger than him. It's just like a big guy taking a charge on a small guy. Like,
you can't really? They can't make you fall backwards like that. Yeah, okay.
That's the way I took it.
I hadn't even thought of that.
But I just thought of Dagnall. That was absolutely genius. Because here we are talking about how good the Thunder are when they play Chet and Hartenstein, and now neither of them's out there against the best player in the world. I just thought it was an unbelievable Game 7 move.
The versatility of that roster is pretty stunning when you watch it, because it's like my guy Wiggs from Maryland, he gets out there and if he played someplace else, I don't even know how many, could he get 20-something a night? Yeah. Without easy.
He'll get 20-plus minutes, I know that.
Well, that's true. And you get several Williams, J-Dubs out there. I don't know. At any given time, now like, man, Lou Dort, hard to go against that Thunder team. I don't know. Give me the Dogs.
Yeah, it just sets up great.
I'm just mad the Orioles fired Hyde. I'm mad at because it's not his fault that everybody's hurt and that the front office just failed them by not going out and getting anyone for basically 2 years. I know you got Burns last year, but you knew he was probably going to leave. He did. I don't know. I saw somebody put John Arand, who covers media and so well for was it Puck?
Yeah, I think so.
I just forgive me. John's a good friend. I'm not trying to not know what it is. Used to be Sports Business Journal, moved over now. There's just so many people that have so many names. Tell me what it is. Make sure I get it right. Puck.
Yeah.
He said as an Oriole fan, like the year they started 0-21.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That was depressing. The years recently where you lost like 120 games, seemingly, was depressing. But this is more depressing because you went through that. Talk about having this great young roster. You make the playoffs. You don't win a game, let alone a series. And now you're in last place. And this is what we're doing. It's really, really disheartening. And I know a lot of Oriole fans who like fire him. Cool. You think this is going to get better?
I was going to say, now what are you going to do?
You think you're going to
15 under 500 after 45 games?
Who are you giving the ball to? Oh, we got Gibbs. Like they fire him, and the Gibson's out there in the first inning. He's given up 6 runs before there's an out. That's like the second or third time that's happened. Charlie Morton, like he could have made any move, and they didn't. And now here we are. It's just disgusting as an Orioles fan to feel like it's not June. This is another one of those seasons where it's like the summer's going to just be, I don't know, whatever it is. You're not going to be in the mix. The fall's not coming.
Yeah, we just spent all this time talking about teams with windows. It's like you spent 6 years trying to build this. You go to the playoffs. You go to the playoffs 2 years in a row, and we're back. What did we do?
It's like the reverse of a dream where it's a nightmare and you wake up and everything's okay. Now it's like you're living in a nightmare and you wake up and you're like, wait, was that good stretch? Was that the make believe? I don't know.
120 more games.
Awesome. I have an announcement to make.
Oh boy.
Very important. I don't want any more boxes of Big Texas brought to me at golf tournaments. If you guys could do me that solid. The Big Texas is kind of a bit among my friends, Big Cat and PF, and Patrick, I should say, from Pardon My Take. Years ago, we were at the airport in Augusta. There was a Big Texas. We were having a big talk about it, and we had some fun through the years about the Big Texas. At the PGA Championship this week, there were not one, but 2 different people brought me enormous boxes of Big Texas. I don't know what.
How many did you eat?
I had none. I had none. Curtis took a bite and then decided he was going to pass. I'm sure they're delicious. It's just and I don't want to. The bit will always be the bit. We'll always talk about the Big Texas. I just don't want a gross of them brought to me. I don't know what I'm meant to do with them. And then it's basically, Mitch Hedberg had a line in comedy about a guy that hands out a flyer, and he's like, when he hands you the flyer, it's like saying to you, here, you throw this away. Like, now it's my job to do something with this giant box of Big Texas. I'm all set. All set. No more Big Texas boxes, please. Thank you.
Sure, that's going to get to everybody. That's
everywhere we go.
Listen, and now it's going to turn into a whole.
We may need to edit this. I'm afraid.
I don't know if you should have done that.
Probably not. Pallets of Big Texas.
What's great is I didn't know what they came in. I've only seen them in vending machines, so you just see the single order of Texas.
There's a density that's remarkable.
The box is like 20 pounds.
It's a bigger box.
And there's like 6 of them in there.
Thank you. What do I do with it? I'm taking back to the compound, and I'm sure they'll be very popular there. I'm just all set on that particular food stuff.
Got a question for you.
I'm here to answer.
I absolutely love, I've talked about it, going to these golf majors.
Yep.
With you, the crew. And there's 3 guys that I look at. Curtis Strange, it's Andy North, and it's Billy Kratzer. I think the world of these guys. And I think I finally found out why.
This is going to be a fascinating thing to hear.
They're older now.
Uh-huh.
They say what they want because they don't give a fuck. And I so appreciate it. I so appreciate because they're older now. They've lived it. They've done it. I just feel like they're honest when they watch the golfers. And they're not on the road every week. Where we're around plenty of guys, where our McGinnises or Michael Collins, whoever, they're out there every week. So it's almost a guarded, Golf Channel guys. Is there a guard put up? Because I got to go see this guy next. Oh, he's playing. So, But those 3 guys, you ask them, you're getting it right away. And I wonder if we are going to get to that point as we get older.
I hope so.
Because it's awesome. They care.
Oh, for sure.
But they don't care what the other person or anyone else thinks about it.
Right. They care. They're just not going to filter it to be,
And I just wonder, getting old, does that just come? Do you just get to 60 and you're like, fuck them?
Jack, make that the title of the episode. Maybe not.
We talk about being mature, and we're in it. We have friends.
Right? We're almost done, buddy.
You're on TV every night talking. You have friends we're talking about. You got to be critical. You got to be supportive. The whole thing. But those guys, is it? No filter.
It's that. But I think it's different. I think it's less about not trying to piss people off. It's just reaching a place where you're completely comfortable with who and what you are. And particularly, like Billy Kratzer, I think he won 5 times on tour. He did it. Andy and Curtis won the U.S. Open twice. They know, but they also they're like Curtis, a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And I sit next to him for a couple of days, and when it's over, I bust his chops because you can make fun of him, and he's
coming right back at you.
That's sure, but at the end of it, I shake his hand, I look him in the eye, and I go, "Hey, listen, never miss the fact that it's an honor for me to sit with you, and I'm honored that we've developed this friendship where you get to hang out with one of the best to ever do it. Andy North's one of the greatest humans I know. Yeah. Love you, Andy. Thinking of you guys this week, and it's a really neat group. It's a neat group to be a part of. We get to do one event a year. We parachute in out of not doing any golf. Is it perfect? No. Do we make mistakes? Of course. But the group is egoless. Everybody is part of the team. And you're right. Those, to me, I could be the host, but I follow their lead. I'm not the tone setter. Those guys are. And you just try to follow the lead that they set. And
because there's also they respect the hell out of these guys that are in it now, because
they know how good they are.
Yeah, exactly. So but there's that level where it's just all right, I'm on, here we go. And I appreciate the hell out of it because I think it's, there's a lot more friendships. I sat with Curtis, I think it was Thursday night for dinner. And he's like, I stopped playing when I was 42. 42 years old. Like, that's it. I'm going to go do some TV. And he's like, I was not a good dude. He's like, I didn't treat people that I was eventually going to work for the right way. He's like, I had to do a lot of looking in the mirror. He's like, but I did have an edge to myself.
There's no question.
And it was unreal. I mean, he's 70 now. And he's like, I think about, the windows of, he's like, I played 20 years on,
Yeah, but the cool thing is that he was a tough dude.
Yeah.
Like, and a guy who, I'm working at the Golf Channel, and he's still out there playing. I wasn't scared of anybody, but I didn't, of all the guys that I knew and would go up to on the range, he wasn't one I was going to go bother.
Mm-hmm.
The story, and it was told this week at the bar. John McGinnis, who's just one of the great all-time Hall of Fame beauties that's ever walked the earth. We were in Grand Blanc, Michigan, and John's hitting tee shots. He's like, "Come here, look at this." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Am I crazy?" He's like, "Am I hitting a hook fade?" And he'd hit it, and it would draw, and then it would fall off. I'm like, "Do it again." And he'd like, boom. And I'm like, "Son of a gun!" Like, what are you, a trick shot artist? Like, I don't know. I'm hitting a hook fade. And then here comes Curtis Strange walking by with a little green bucket of balls. And I'm like, "Hey, Curtis, you want to see a guy hit a hook fade?" And Curtis looks at us like, "You two fucking bozos." He couldn't believe that he had to share the range, let alone breathe the same air as us, as he walked over. And me and McGinnis just continued. And I'm like, I've never seen anything like it. And the other night at the bar, somebody's like, What did John McGinnis say? I'm like, hook fade. Never seen anything like it. And the people at the bar are like, what's a hook fade? Like, tell him, Johnny. And it's just amazing that all of these decades later, that now McGinnis, Curtis, and me work on the same crew doing golf. It's a blast. It's a blast.
Yeah, because to end it, I think the other way.
We're not ending it. I got one more for you. Go ahead.
I don't know if the younger guys that are playing now appreciate the guys that have done it. Like I wonder, in all sports too. Like, I think there's some value to learning a little bit of history.
The cool thing about golf that I just realized as you talked is that many sports look at this generation. Basketball is most, like this group, they can't do it. Golf guys that are the old guys look at this group and go, I'm glad I don't have to play against them. They acknowledge the greatness of what we're seeing.
That's what it is. I just hope it's the other way too.
I think people know. I hope they do. The Hall of Fame credentials of our group well established, but the MVP of our crew is a man by the name of Ken Brown, or as Steve calls him,
Burnsy.
Ken Brown, when I would be over doing like the Open, and you'd be watching the BBC, and here's this man. He's this skinny Scotsman, and he's out running around. He's like, let me just throw a little tiddler here, throw the ball here, and watch this. This proper shit, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, and now he's out doing it for us. And he's showing you how the ball's going to react on the green and this and that. And Curtis, I'm glad he did it. It's like, listen, you folks in the States don't know. This guy was like a 5-time Ryder Cupper. He's a winner around the world. Like, this guy could really play. But he's fascinating to listen to. He's just couldn't be a more charming, entertaining guy. But his name's Ken Brown, known as Brownie. Or
I will admit, older English Euro golfers is not my strength of knowledge.
Not your sweet spot?
Not my sweet spot. And, everybody's happy to see each other. We're in the office and we're walking, people are getting snacks, coffee, food, getting their assignments, trying to figure out when we're going to go on the range. And I see Ken over in the corner. I'm like, hey, Birdsy. And I gave him a fist pump and he just, hey, he gave me a fist pump back and I just kept going. And then I'm watching TV later and he's doing one of the, I'm like, guy's name's Ken Brown. You called him Burnsy. The hell is wrong with you? Guy's a legend in the sport.
To be fair to you, pretty sure he doesn't know your name's Stanford Steve.
No chance.
So it's fine.
No chance.
He might just think it's like a term of endearment.
But I will help him out. As we were doing the Betcast Sunday, I was leaving the hotel and I saw his demonstration on 7. He's like, look at this. everything will roll back.
Oh, yeah, you're saying like Eagles.
I'm like, we're going birdies are better on this hole. Boom, boom, boom. Plus 380 a couple times. Did well for the people. Those houses on 7. Good Lord.
Yeah, there's people that have done better than us. People that have invented stuff or something. We might need to we might need to huddle him. Maybe we bring in Brownie, a.k.a. Bernsey, for a little help on Oakmont if he's going to be on the grounds. Maybe he can help Gordo with some. Huh? I mean, Gordo's not on the outs, but like, got to tighten that up.
As he's doing his demonstration, he hit a 40-footer downhill. He wasn't even looking. He hit it and just started walking and talking about the green. And it goes in. And what did he say?
You little beauty. He's like, on one of the greens, like, if you end up back here, this is no good at all. This is Quicksville, Texas. Quicksville. Somebody's like, that's near Laredo or Lubbock. I don't know. Anyway, this is a Hall of Fame length. No one's still listening. I get it. You got shit to do. So, go do it.
Good luck tomorrow.
Playoffs come. Head to New York.
There you go.
Emmys. Whatever.
Come on.
Whatever. I'm walking in like a winner. I feel like a winner. If we leave a winner, great. It's okay.
You're going to feel the vibe of the city, though.
I was thinking about that.
You're going to feel it.
Go New York. Go New York. Go.
Oh.
It is big. Maybe we'll just stick around. Maybe we'll just punt. Tell them I'm not coming back. I'm staying in the city. I'm going to go game 1 Wednesday night.
Not every week you can come on TV and you say, starting our 13th hour of coverage.
It's excessive. We got lucky, though. That late Thursday, Johnny Vegas is out there.
Yeah.
Making birdies and shooting 7 under. But it was a long week. But we're off today. We're going to, I don't know. What do you got? Reacquaint yourself with
Hopefully
your
we get a cast off a broken arm. One of the kids just had a 9th birthday. We're rocking and rolling.
All right.
Pool's open.
Swim season.
Week from tomorrow.
Time trials. All right. I got to pee. It's time to go. Have a nice week, everybody. We'll see you soon. When we tweet this out, we'll share we're around. Is it next Monday, next Tuesday? We'll figure out the timing.
Oh, yeah, Memorial Day.
Be safe.
Have a great Memorial Day.
Have fun. Be safe. If you go to the Starboard, remember, you can't drink all day if you don't start at breakfast.